All right, people. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Rookie Reset. And you may be saying to yourself, what the heck is a rookie reset? Well, folks, it would be a Sunday night on an evening just like this, except I would be stressed the hell out because I could not manage my classroom. And quite frankly, I could not manage this whole teaching thing. So what I was hoping for, I said, guys, can someone give me some practical stuff to help me stay in this teaching game? So on this Rookie Reset, I share with you practical tools, tips, and strategies to help new teachers stay in the teaching game. Or we have guests to come on and share their expertise, because whether you are a superintendent, a principal, at some point, you were a new teacher. And so I believe that everyone can bring some expertise, just help new teachers out and just let them know that, hey guys, there's some things to help you stay in the game, because a lot of times it's not that that new teachers it's not that you know they quit too soon, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like sometimes you just need support. So that's what this is all about for new teachers, to help you stay in the game. So we're just going to provide some practical tools, tips, and strategies to make that happen. So today, friends, the title of our Rookie Reset today is Losses Make Great Teachers. Yes, losses make great teachers. So today I just want to share with you, hold on just a second. Hold on, my computer, let's see, wait, but we're going to get back in this vehicle. Hold on just a second, y'all. All right, yes. So, the title of today is Losses Make Great Teachers. And so as I thought about this idea, I reflected on my time, my first year. So this one day, I was up at the board teaching like my hair was on fire, y'all. I'm talking about, you could have seen the steam from my hair. Like I was teaching so hard. So it was testing time. It was probably about this time right around here. So anybody that's in testing season, you already know, like every day is so urgent. So I was up there teaching like my hair was on fire, and it was these two students that they were talking. And the advice that I had gotten to this point was like, listen, not let them kids disrespect you. Don't do it. So I was like, I'm gonna be tough. And I said, hey guys, I really need for you to be quiet. I walked over to the two students and I said, hey guys, I really need for you guys to be quiet. And so so they said, yes, ma'am. I turned and went to the board. And as I was going back to the board, it was some students that the students said something under their breath. And, you know, I'm like, listen, you are not about to punk me in front of the class. So I was like, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to call your mother. Right. So we go out in the hallway. I handed my BlackBerry. For those of you, I know y'all new teachers, you might be real young. You don't know about the BlackBerry, but that's the old school iPhone for those that don't know. But so I go out, I handed the cell phone. She typed the number in, and I'm like, okay, what's really going on here? Like, what she has this little smirk on her face, you know, whatever. So she hands me the phone. I talk to her mother, and when I go in the classroom, I put my foot in the little door frame, and the class just erupted in laughter. Like I'm talking about hee-haw, hee-haw. I'm confused. I'm like, what's going on? I went out and make a phone call. The kids won't stop laughing. So I do what any good new teacher would do at that time with no tools. I scream at the top of my lungs. I need for you all to be quiet. And they still kept talking. They still kept laughing. They were not concerned about Miss Fitzgerald and her math problem. So then I decided I'm going to go to the board and continue to teach. Now, you just didn't hear me when I was screaming at the top of my lungs. Why are you going to hear me now? So, so finally the bell rings. They're still laughing. I don't know what's going on. They walk outside the door, and then I sit at my desk and I have that good old new teacher meltdown. If you haven't had that, shout out to you. But I definitely was asking myself, I said, what am I doing? That's like, this is so hard. Why can't I figure it out? I don't know what happened. I went to make a phone call. I come back. The kids won't stop laughing. And so finally, one of my students, she was left behind. Shout out to you. I like to call her my student plug, because everyone has one. They keep you informed in the know. People like to call them a snitch, but they keep you informed as a new teacher. But so she comes up to me and she says, you know, Miss Fitzgerald, you know that you didn't call her mom, right? I was like, yeah, I did. We had a whole conversation, all good. She said, nah, Miss Fitzgerald, you called called the student that was next to her, and she had you on speakerphone. So we heard your whole conversation. That's why we were laughing, because like we couldn't believe that you actually, like, you really thought you were talking to a parent. So that day I was like, listen, tomorrow these kids getting this smoke, they getting this heat. But didn't do that because, hey, I didn't have a lot of options in, I was like, what other job are you really gonna do? Like, for real. So I finally look in Power School and I get a number. Now, that's a really hard lesson to learn, calling inside of your own classroom. They had you on speakerphone to know that you need to go in Power School to get a kid's phone number. Maybe, I'm sure you all are trustworthy students, but you're probably not going to give me the correct number. So, and this happens so often, as a new teacher, like I remember that day, I really was on the verge of quitting because I was like, I cannot believe this happened to me. Like, I cannot believe I got played by 15-year-olds. And so a lot of times what I see with new teachers, like, as a new teacher, you have been successful up to this point. You probably made good grades. I know at that point I was like, oh my gosh, I earned a scholarship. I worked in the NBA. I did all these different things. And you can ask yourself, why is this that hard? Or why is this that hard? Because I'm putting in max effort and I'm not getting anything back. I don't know if it's working. I'm screaming every day. I'm hollering. And I say to you, that is because that losses are required to become a great teacher. And so I just want to share with you a couple of things to keep in mind and different perspectives as you are on this journey as a new teacher, because I think a lot of times, because you have been so successful to this point, you are asking yourself, why is this that hard? And so I'm going to tell you why today. And so losses are imperative for your growth. Okay. So the first one is give yourself permission to mess up. It's not a matter of if you mess up, it's a matter of when. Guys, I called inside my own classroom. Like, literally, that's the inspiration for my book. That's like that's the reason I wrote the book, because of that day I called inside of my own classroom. I was like, listen, this cannot be this hard. So just know that it's a part of the game. You're going to mess up. And I think the second thing to keep in mind is that it's on the job training. I think that is what's unique to teaching. Like I talked about last week. They taught me how to write a lesson plan. They taught me my content. But when I got inside of those four walls, there was nothing like it. I learned as I went every single year. Like, I learned something every day. Be like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, this worked. But it was the losses that really make you a great teacher, right? And then I think the third thing is losses mean learning. So like I said, every year, every lesson, every day, you want to know what motivated me to give me some classroom management and some structures and routines? Screaming every day. That's what motivated me, because I got tired of screaming. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to find another way to manage my class, because screaming, yelling at the kids, they not responsive. I'm stressed out. They stressed out. I got to figure it out. And so don't assign a meaning to, oh, I'm messing up. I'm this, I'm that, as a meaning about you as a person, because you're going to mess up. But if you can use it as learning, then you're going to be great at this. I think that something that we have to keep in mind is that when I reflect back on my journey, the losses are what made me a great teacher. All of them, every single one of them, because if you take the information for what it is and you learn from it, then you are headed in the right direction. So just be willing to be reflective. And here's a stat for you that they say that teachers that are self-reflective and self-aware, they make 35% more money, because they're willing to learn from their mistakes, because we know that they're going to happen. It's all about how we respond to it. And I think the other thing to keep in mind is that growth is messy. I think a lot of times, like when I reflect back on my journey as even a basketball player, that when I worked on my jumper, I went out, and when I worked on my jumper, and within a few weeks, my jumper got better. I saw results instantly, but growth is not a linear process. Like, I think about my first year. Like I said, I didn't know that kids could be quiet while you talked. I had no idea they could do that, but I saw my mentor do it. And so I went in and I tried to do some of the things she did. And you know what? It worked for a little while and then it didn't work again. So I had to adjust again. So a lot of times with learning and making mistakes, we think that it's a linear process. I learned something, now I'm great at it. No, it usually goes like this. You get it, you mess it up, then you try it again. You don't go, you go higher, then you fall a little less. So it's just understand that process is messy. There are going to be mistakes. You're going to mess it up. Some days you're going to get it right. And just know that's a part of the process. And I think the last thing is mastery over time. Your job this year is not to be the LeBron James of teaching. A lot of times what we say to ourselves is like, I should be there already. I should have this all figured out. I remember I would look around at other teachers and I was like, dang, like they seem like they just got it all figured out. And here I am screaming every day in this class. These kids, they studying me. What's going on? And so understand that it is a process. Like you grow into becoming a new teacher. Like when I reflect back on my time in the classroom, even now still, like it's a process. You'll get there, and so your job this year is not to be LeBron James, but it's to be efficient and be the best you can be. I often use the analogy here where I'm from, my team is the Memphis Grizzlies. Shout out to y'all. Listen, we coming back. Y'all just know, listen, we took game one loss, we come back. But anyway, so there's a really effective player on there. His name is Desmond Bane. He can shoot the cover off the ball. You know what I mean? But Ja Morant is a superstar, right? And so a lot of times we think we got to come in and be just like that. We got to be the Ja Morant, but we don't have to be Ja Morant. We've got to, our first year is really about us being efficient and mastery over time. And a good way to work on that is mentors, great support along the way. So just to recap what we covered today in terms of losses make great teachers. Number one, give yourself permission to mess up. It's not a matter of if you mess up, you will. It's a matter of when. Secondly, understand that teaching is on the job training. A lot of the things may not be in a textbook. It's just doing it, figuring out that didn't work, or trying something else. Oh, this worked. Let me keep doing it. So it's on the job training. The next thing is be curious about the meanings that you're assigning to losses. Losses just means learning. That's all it means. All it means. My motivation was screaming every day. That's what the loss of screaming and having no voice was like. Okay, girl, we're going to have to develop some systems. Also keep in mind that growth is messy. You're going to make mistakes. It's a part of the process. It's not a linear. You go up, you go down, you figure it out as you go. And then lastly, mastery over time. You do not have to be LeBron James this year. You do not have to be Ja Morant of teaching. You just have to be efficient and the best you can be, So just keep that in mind. And so I will close it out with a quick story from my time as a triple jumper. So my senior year, my coach asked me to do the triple jump. I had never done it in my entire life. Like I really didn't even want to run track because gosh, I don't like running. Like why? Why run for fun? I like to do it because I like the way I feel, but anyways. So he asked me to do triple jump. And the first time I did it, I ran out there with some really thick sneakers that were too big. I shouldn't have been running in. And so I jumped with those and I lost. Well, got some feedback. They said, hey, listen, next time you probably need to jump in some spikes because you'll be lighter to make you go further. All right. So I jumped again a second time, lost. And so I made some adjustments, got some more feedback, lost again. And right before the state, I worked with my aunt who she had won the state. Not one state, but she had won the MAC championship in college. She was a triple jumper, long jumper, and she had won their conference. So she worked with me. She said, okay, you're jumping too high. I just want you to jump out. Now, at this point, I had lost to the same person 4 times. It might be 3 or 4 times. I'm not sure. But I get to state and I win, right? But in order for me to get there, I took some losses over and over and over again. You may have days in your classroom where you say to yourself, like, oh my gosh, I definitely took a loss today. You're going to have those, but understand the losses, the L's are what's going to make you a great teacher. Without that feedback, without those losses I had along the way when I was jumping in that triple jump, I would not have won the state because I wouldn't have realized where I needed to grow and what things I needed to work on to help me become a winner and win the state. So understand the losses are imperative for your growth, and the losses are part of the process. Just know that, new teachers. So this is your action step, new teachers. This is what I want you to do. I want you to drop in the chat or drop in the comments. What's one thing that maybe that you recently messed up on, and what did you learn from? And is there an adjustment that you need to make? Drop it in the comments. So thank you all for tuning in, new teachers. Get out there this week and reset your class so your Sunday nights are not like mine used to be. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great week, and we'll talk soon. And I'm out.